நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிதில் எக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். For the benefit of all the listeners, going forward the conversation will be in English because it is a topic of interest not just for people of a certain linguistic group. FETNA represents the Tamil diaspora in the United States, Canada and Mexico. பயனாளிகளின் நலம் கருதி மேலதிக உரையாடல் தமிழில் நிகழாமல் ஆங்கிலத்தில் மட்டுமே நிகழும் என்பதை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம். நன்றி. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். To begin with disclaimer, this is a immigration session that is going to cover wide range of topics. No advice here must be considered legal specific advice to yourself, individual and families. For your particular situation, you always must consult an immigration attorney and get clarifications. Any information that is provided here in this session is going to be very generic, and we are looking to also answer generic questions only in this panel discussion. We begin by thanking FETNA, the board, the member delegates, and the member organizations that have provided this platform for us to have a very timely conversation on the topic of immigration today with us. We begin by introducing the self and the panel here. I'm Karthik Rangarajan. I live in Washington, D.C. Metro. I chair the Government Embassy and Consular Affairs Committee for FETNA. And I'm glad to introduce Ms. Sumita Kesavan. She leads the Legal, Citizenship and Immigration team for FETNA. And she also is going to be moderating this panel along with me. And I then want to have Kavita Ramaswamy, an eminent attorney, former president of the New Jersey Tamil Sangam, very well known in the Indian diaspora here in the United States. She's a practicing attorney for more than 2 decades now. I welcome her to the panel. And I also am glad to welcome Mary Kennedy from Chicago. She's also an eminent attorney. She has provided her pro bono consultation. Both of them have provided a lot of pro bono consultations for community members in the past many years. In situations like COVID, they were ready to pitch in and help the community with their advice and their directions. And even in situations like today, they are willing to spare their time and talk to us amidst their busy schedules. I thank the both of them for joining us for the conversation here today. Before we begin, I wanted to provide some basic reminders about a lot of things that our people sometimes do not pay attention to, which would come to be a little bit of a strangling situation for them. We request all of you that is watching to kindly go ahead and look at your passport validity dates first of all. Many people do not pay attention to it. We do not want you to have your passports expired, both Indian, US, and any other foreign country passport that you're holding. We want you to make sure that you have all the documentation legally compliant. And we also want to make sure that you have your I-94 dates also reflecting properly to ensure that you are legally compliant with all that you have to be while you're staying in the US. Please check that. And in addition, there is a very recent trend that we are seeing where people who have accepted a foreign passport, foreign citizenship, and have family ties and also financial ties to India, we do see situations where they are either um, forgetting this to be done on time, or I would say a little stronger, that is this lethargy, that is people driving people to having no travel visa to India. If you accept a foreign citizenship, and if you have home ties, please ensure that for your home country you have a visa available, so that when it's emergency, when all hell breaks loose, I want you to make sure that you have the necessary travel documentation for traveling on emergencies. And at FETNA, we have a specific team of people that is helping people on emergencies called the Tamil ER. You can refer to the website tamiler.org. It is not a service that we do on a voluntary basis, not just for the Tamil diaspora, for the large Indian diaspora. We do provide services in emergencies where we help the repatriation process, which is called the sending back of mortal remains of those that pass away here in the US. And if there is mutual travel documentation that is to be secured, we provide directions to them on a pro bono basis. This is all voluntary service that we provide for the community. So Tamil ER is a team of people, motivated volunteers that is helping diaspora members across the country from coast to coast. And if there is any situations like that where you run into any emergencies, I request you to please reach out to the FETNA Tamil ER team, either via the phone call line or email, so that we'll be able to get to the situation and help you out in ways in which we can, with proper compliance to all the legalities provided by the law of the land here. With that said, I would like to now pass over the control to Sumita to begin with some of the generic questions that many people have been having in their mind. And she would be addressing the questions on this, and after which she and I would collectively moderate the panel. We thank you all for tuning in, and over to you, Sumita. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. So let me dive directly into the questions. To start with, I would like Kavita to answer this one. Where and who are impacted by the presidential proclamation? Have there been any precedent to this?
It's a very good question. We all know last week that it created a panic last Friday. Everybody was panicking at around 6 p.m. EST, and when the president signed the proclamation, whatever during the video that was signed, whatever said during the signing was very different, and we all thought it was a travel ban where people cannot come in after September 21st. So this created, we all know like what people went through, people on H1B and other immigrants, non-immigrants went through the last weekend and this week. So things are a little bit settling down. So what we come to know every day, like I have been to many sessions, and every day we learn something new. So there are something new things come up because we are also trying so many things, because when it started and the memo came in, we thought like it is for people who who are renewals are okay. So we didn't know that time whether the change of employees are okay. So every day we started learning by filing cases and learning from other attorneys who filed cases. So currently we have come to a conclusion that it is people who are in the country are safe, like the renewals, the change of employers, all are going through well. So it is currently we have come to a conclusion that it is probably for people who are outside the country for the new petition only. So the cap 2027, I would say, like even the proclamation and the memo said 2026, but basically it's a fiscal year 2027 cap. So that is what is going to affect it. So be affected where the people, the new petition, the new cap petitions for people who are outside the country is currently, that's what we have come to the conclusion, will be affected. But still, there are so many gray areas. We have to wait and watch. And whether it's a president, we know about the travel ban that happened in President Trump's 1.0. So we have to wait and see what's happening there. There could be many.
Okay. Thank you, Kavita. Now I would like to ask the next question to Mary. Does anyone who have a petition approved or awaiting approval now get impacted by this proclamation?
வணக்கம் எல்லாருக்கும். So the proclamation, as of now, as Kavita rightly said, we don't see anyone who's going to be applicable for, and as all, we are just learning through the process. The H-1B transfers are going through fine with the no applicable fees of 100,000. That was confirmed from multiple attorneys, even though the USCIS system was like down for a day, and so we were worried that it might be something they are doing something in the back end. However, it's not applicable. And then also, as some of you would have known by now, the Chamber of Commerce has initiated the legal lawsuit against this. So, we need to wait on how it's going to be. With all this said, there's no one even if you have out of country, your visas are going through fine in all the consulate. For other reasons, definitely they are getting the 221 Gs. But again, not for the reason of the proclamation. Nothing is changed. Nothing is happening new. So we are assured as of now, whatever has been happening within the country or at the out of country at the most is definitely going on fine.
Okay. Thank you, Mary. So before even we started this program, and once we planned, we had a QR code to the posters. So that QR code was shared all over US, and then we received plenty of questions. So Karthik helped us to curate all the questions, and based on that, we have a small quickfire question, which means this is one of the common questions that's been asked by more number of people. So we are just trying to address as many people as possible. So based on that, let me start. This is for Kavita. Regarding the change of status, H4 to H1, impacted? If so, please explain.
See, this is also a kind of a gray area currently, but I would say that because the proclamation is based on the INA 212F, which means that it's only the entry is restricted. The president has the power to suspend the entry of the aliens or the immigrants coming in. So, having said that, it is we can understand that it is only probably banning the entry, even if it is a new petition. We are, I mean, it's again, I know, a trial and error because we don't know. It's still a gray area, but we can come to a conclusion that people who are here on a visa, I mean, on a non-immigrant visa, trying to change the status to H1 should not be affected. But don't hold me for that, because still we are, only when we really do the case we will know. But based on the proclamation and the based on what it was done, it is looks like it's a restriction for the entry of the immigrants. So it should be okay at this time. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. So the next one is for Mary. Again, it's a change of status question. F1 OPT to H1, is it impacted? If yes, please explain.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Kavita. That's a good explanation. Coming back to this, right, it's almost the same, but see, as it specifies with the the press statement or the memo that has been issued, it keeps specifying which is the new 2026, which means it's intended to be for the new 2026, which, as Kavita said, it's going to be 2027. We call it, even though we file it in 2026.
It's 7:45.
So, keeping that in mind, when you talk about it, the petitions that has been filed already, which is F1 that has been filed, or any other petition that has been filed with a change of status, shouldn't have that impact of this 100,000. And we were talking, Kavita were discussing earlier yesterday or something. One of the leading attorneys specifies in his blog that like even when they are bringing it applicable to the 2027 quota, the aliens who are already in the country, it might be a relief for so many of the F1 students. There are so many things, Sami, like unknown and time. We have to just wait for the time as well, because the high level wages are coming in. So many proposals are still pending. With all that said, I wouldn't ask everyone to be concerned about how it's going to be happening in the next year quota, but still, as the question specifies, for the people who had filed already, it shouldn't have its impact either way, because the
Mhm.
proclamation keeps insisting about the new H1Bs. Keeping that in mind, it shouldn't be a problem for the people who already filed and who are waiting for their approvals or decisions. So that's what it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. So the next one is to Kavita. Change of status. L1 to H1 impacted.
It's the same thing. If you are changing the status inside the country and you are not coming from outside, it's only pertaining to the uh, people who are coming from outside, or if you are trying to file a new petition for somebody in India, only those are affected. So
Mhm.
currently it is our opinion that people who are trying to change the status from one status to another will not be affected and will not have this 100,000.
Okay, thank you. The next one is to Mary. This is also again about the change of status. Regarding the change of status, this would be the last one, I'll tell you that. L2 to H1, is it impacted?
No, the same.
Okay. Okay. So why we wanted to get into details is most of the people, though we mention is it as common, they really wanted to know whether it is L1, yeah, F1, so in order to address them, we made this. So the next question is to Kavita. Availing a cap exempt H1 after some years, is that considered as new H1? Is that impacted?
See, it is again like, it's a gray area again. We, if it is a new H1, we don't, I mean, it is, when somebody is coming from outside, that's what the question, right? When somebody is coming from outside and if it's exempted, yeah, that's what currently we don't know. Like, again, it's a trial and error. We should try something like that. Currently, people are getting stamped when they are already filed, when they have already filed for the H1. So
Hmm.
currently we don't know if we want to, because the form we mark as new when
Okay.
we file it as for somebody outside the country. So, and the proclamation on the memo says any new H1. So, which means that this will be, the considered new. So, in my opinion, it may be impacted, but we have to wait and see. Anybody
Okay.
outside, we don't know. Even though they have had an H1 before, we have to wait and see.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kavita. And the next one is to Mary. The non-profit hedge funds. The non-profit hedge funds for academic people, research scholars, and college staffs, how far it is impacted?
So it's a very good question on this, because they never had been having any H1B, and we all know that any nonprofit organizations doesn't fall under the lottery system, so they are eligible even now to file it as a new H1B. If the proclamation as such has been taken and then strictly followed by USCIS, even with the memo, that's something they have to make it applicable for them, because they don't they, it's a, it's typically the same. But at the same time, also, as we were going through that with other attorneys, and the blog I was talking about, then it specifies with the change of status, it shouldn't be applicable even for when they are within US. So then, if they are over here and they are, just changing the status from J1 to F1, I'm sorry, H1 or any other state, it shouldn't be applicable being a nonprofit organization. But it's a completely a gray area. And then what I would expect is, being a nonprofit organization and you being in that H1B, then national interest waiver is the only option that's available for you. Either way, I should be taking it in a way that even if it's applicable, it's very easy to justify national interest waiver in the specific scenarios.
Okay.
Because
Thank
the
you.
Bloomberg News, just a quick ad,
Uh-huh.
states for the doctors, right? They are very specific to say that, they become what we are going to do with the already a shortage of the healthcare industry. They have specified, then why can't you use the national interest waiver? So this could be one of the very typical example we could use it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. And this one is for Kavita. Do you see any legal challenges arising for the proclamation in the courts? If so, any legal opinion on how this could be viewed by the courts?
See, many are going to file the lawsuits are in pipeline. I am sure that this will not go to next March. The cap
Mm-hmm.
cases. It will not
Mm-hmm.
definitely. It is. He is. President is not authorized to do this. Even there was a very well-known attorney, Charles Cox, interview recently. We saw it in the national television,
Mm-hmm.
and he also very clearly said it's illegal. He cannot do it. So
Right.
Fridays, or immigration days. So
I know. I'll wait for
he
something
clearly
special
said
on
that, and
Fridays.
it was is definitely it is not going to go through. We are all but whatever it's in the current state, whatever we have now, that's what we are discussing. But we
Mm-hmm.
will also very soon discuss that it's been removed.
Okay. I think a lot of people, including us, are waiting for that.
Yes.
Thank you, Kavita. And this is for Mary. What is Project Firewall? It was announced by the Department of Labor. And what are the areas could that impact?
So the Project Firewall, right, it's saying strengthening the oversight of the H-1B and safeguarding the job opportunities. Some of them are, see, these are all in place, even if you look into it, any compliance about the public access files or any recruitments, how it has to be done when you file for a perm. These are all regular compliance process that have already been, happening. So on top of it, they have said that, like any abuses that's related to that, and as it's come along with the proclamation before day and everything, it's going to be, we can say that it's going to be a little more serious about it. People, just making easy, even anything that happens with the Department of Labor, we know very well how serious it could extend and debarring the employers for a certain number of years. And then they could go, even one complaint from any individual could result in the Department of Labor going back on all documentations for the past 2 years and then auditing and then, like visiting your office. And this has been listed as all of them as I look into it. I don't want to go in detail about it, but definitely it's all about the complaints. And as we all know, in the past, every department, if USCIS maintains their own data, and with the privacy structure that was in the older process of the INAs and everything, so they don't share the data. Even if you look into an I-140 filing, and then if there is no ETA from the Department of Labor, we have to request them to release the data after the employer's consent. They have to do that. That's a process. But I think it was like 3-4 years before, if I'm right, they had that everyone are sharing what within themselves, Department of State, the consulates, and then USCIS and the Department of Labor. They started sharing the data and the details of what has been happening. So they said that they insisted again in this Project Firewall that the data are going to be shared within among themselves. So very easily, right, like see, when you look into even any kind of an EB1A, when they come back to say that, we are ready to file it in, and if your EB2 has been filed 5 years before with certain, your responsibilities and whatever has been, you have to be so diligent enough to understand what kind of a data USCIS has, even though they are not going too far at this point of time. So for everyone, it's something that you need to really in a place taking things seriously, being an employer or an employee, rather than just coming up to my friend got this and so I'm ready for it. That's not the way it's going to be working.
Right. Thank you, Mary. And this one is for Kavita. This is one of the very common questions we receive by plenty of people. What are the do's and don'ts for the employees on H1 in the current situation?
See, any of my whatever the sessions I do, I always insist that be aware of your own visa type. That is very, very important, because when people come here, they, even whether it's an H4 or a H1 or F1, whatever it is, be aware or understand what it is, what it allows and what it doesn't allow, and when is the extension due, when do you have to file the EAD for F1s, and when, what are all the dates, you should be aware of your own visa. I have seen plenty of them missing to file the H4 because they think every time you have to go to the consulate, only then you have to file the, because that is the first time, that's how they got it. And whoever it is, the spouse, who is coming on H4 should be aware, this is the first thing, whether it's now or any time, whenever you are going for a different country, it's not I mean, the country you came from, you are going to a different country, you should know the basic laws, and you should know what visa you are going in and the limitations of the visa, because people I see, do not risk, F1 students do not risk going into the working in the restaurants and working in gas station. It is not even worth it, because we see so many of the eyes everywhere. So you have come here with so, I mean, you have spent so much here, you have come here, and you have come here to study. Please only do that, do not risk anything like this. And for employees, for H1B employees, this is another thing which Karthik in the beginning said. This
Mentioned.
is also, we see where, a lot of times where people who come here, when they travel here, they don't even take, because before, when we came, that the I-94 was stapled to the passport. That time we know that what is the end date, but now it is not that. You have to go to the CPP website, and you have to download your I-94. Everybody who travels, non-immigrant who travels, you have to see what is in the I-94, what is your end date. Many times only when the file the extension, sometimes if it is within 6 months, it's good. But many times, I've seen cases where they come after 2 years saying that, oh, the passport expired, and I just see that the I-94 expired 2 years back. It is very scary situation, because times were also, they were, when we file a non-proton, they were giving, but we don't
Mhm.
know how it is going to be in this administration, because don't expect any leniency. I know that it was a oversight, but it is, your mistake is not an excuse. So please be aware of what your own case. Please see the I-94 validity date. And if there is any, because sometimes there are two 797s. In the old 797, they give it in the CBP, and they have the I-94 for the old 797. But when they come to extend, they see that, even though they had a new approval, they did not show it. So then for that, at least you have to email the CPP to get it corrected. But the stress they go through, the panic they go through, I can't even explain, people crying to us, and they're talking like, what if I have to go? I've seen, even yesterday I had an H4 person was, really, it feels so sad, because it was some simple things they can take care. So that's what
Mhm.
I would really suggest. Please do your own thing and file for the extensions and everything ahead. Okay, it is ultimately your own case, right? Even though there are employers, attorneys, who, anything it's going to affect you. So you have to be, proactive and follow up with your employer, do the amendments correctly. When you when you move to a different location, many employers tell us that, we don't even know that the employee moved, because sometimes they tell the HR where the pay stubs have changed, the address changed, but they did not communicate to the immigration department. I have seen this, because the data was not shared there. So
Mm.
we see the pay stub has a different address than what was filed in the LCA, what was there in the LCA. So this is not going to this. Do not expect any leniency. So please be aware. You can only work in where the LCA, where the place where you have the location of the LCA, but not in any different place, as long as the location matters, the MSA matters. So please be aware. If you have any questions, please contact me or Mary or any of the qualified attorney to see like what all the options you have, where you can work, and any questions you have, we are always available to share our knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavita. My dear friends, whoever you're watching, keep all your paperwork well, check your dates. Ignorance of law is never excused. That one thing you can never overrule anytime. So, as Karthik said, keep your passports, check all your validity dates, LCAs, amendments, keep up with your employers. When speaking about the employers, I have the next question to you, Mary. What are the do's and don'ts for the employers of H1 in the current situation for the employers?
So, any given situation, yesterday there was a call from the client. He said, Happy Wednesday. To make it little lighter, we are talking so serious. And then I said, okay, so how it's going to be for the Friday? That's a surprise. We have to wait for it.
Of course.
Yeah, right. We are not in a position to say, how was your last week Friday? Karthik, Sirikada.
Thank God it's Friday. Nobody can say that again.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. And so coming back to your question of the, employers, as Kavita rightly said, right? See, any time period, see, there are sometimes a visit to the FDNS visit, even during the COVID, right? I had a situation where the FDNS officer is so convinced that this person is not in the right location of the LCA. It's a very, very serious than what we all know that. And then he tried to convince them with a picture in front of us. The client said, even though he was not going during the COVID and other reasons, then he said, to just give he asked him to go get anything and then tell them that where he is with his credit card statements and everything. So sometimes they go that serious because they are not trusting you that you're supposed to do what you're supposed to. As an employee, even though you're 100% remote, there is a reason that an LC has been filed with a wage that has to be applicable in your location where you stay, and you can't move away 50 miles more than that. It can be, no matter what, that cannot be excused. Starting from there, the copy of having an LCA and understanding what's your job duties, what's the title. The title you hold on with a client is not the title that your LCA holds. This could sounds as simple as such. So then, but again, like when it comes to the actual job title and the response, we see a lot more. Even in last call, we discussed about it. Your job duties and the experience of the level that if you are filed with a level 2 wages, then you can't be saying that this position is needs 10 years of an experience. Then you could have been in the level 4 wages. That's not the wage that has been said. And also, I think eventually you're going to talk about the FDNS officer visit to the home. You want me to just quickly say that, or we'll wait for it to be?
No, you can continue.
Right, yeah. Okay. Even if the FDNS officer visits your home address, and then all that you can do is it's no longer voluntary. We are all agreeing to it, and it's going to be, you need to commit yourself to the officer when he comes to your home. But all that you could do, they do also understand your home is not a place like an office. Anybody could walk in and then you're prepared for it. It can be as clean as such or as ugly as such, with the simple things like the children going around and everything. As a matter of fact, you can always ask them that, like you can give them, it's not immediately that you need to be sitting and addressing all his questions. You can always take a day and then let them know that you'll be prepared for their visit when you have to be. These are all very small understanding that you could do when the officer comes in. With a due respect, you can always say that. So it helps you to prepare yourself for the, what you're supposed to be with your job responsibilities, and then what is your title, what's your wage, and you don't have to rush in to give all the documents they ask you for. You can involve your HR, your employer, or your attorney for that sake, so that you're in a safer place to provide them what it is. We were talking about so many NOIRs, which means notice of intent to revoke. That is happens after the approval of a H1B. So then, like then it's all a conflict that happens when the FDNS officer visits and then, they ask a question, your clients provides you some kind of requirements for the position, and then your petition states something, and then you state something that is what. So all these could be definitely avoided when we are so prepared. And at this point of time, it's as simple as such. There's no excuse that could be given to say that I'm not sure about what is in my petition letter, what's my job responsibility. This is something that you have to be diligent enough to knowing about it.
Okay. Okay.
I hope it's
Thank
not a
you.
big lecture.
Oh, no, no. This is something that everybody needs to know, especially when somebody comes to your home. You can always take time. Of course, panic, it's very hard to control your panic, but at the same time, it's essential for every household to know it's okay to talk to the officers, ask for their IDs, and say, you just need this time, etc. So that was very, very, very good information. Thank you so
And also
much.
what Mary said about the H4, I mean the level 4 and the level 2, it's a burning topic because we are
Mhm.
seeing so many issues because of that, the NOIRs issues. So please be aware of it. It's very, very important.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kavita. Now it's over to Karthik. Karthik, join the club.
Thank you.
Wah, wah, wah.
Am I on?
You are.
Okay. All right. Yeah, good that I'm here. I don't want to be like an Arnab Goswami talking all by myself. And we actually timed this for 20, 25 minutes for the initial set of questions. The ladies were speed talking and they ran it to about 37 minutes now. We wanted to keep it within the time of the 1 hour period. So getting into the topic now, we do have a wider range of topics to cover. So I'll keep it um, quick and straight. There was a birthright citizenship blocker executive order, Kavita. Where is that and what are the impacts at this point in time for that?
See, no news is good news. So currently,
Mhm.
everybody I mean, the children born here are issued passport. So that's
Mhm.
not a problem. And we are still waiting for the decision by the Supreme Court.
Fantastic. Mary, over to you then. Then, with the proclamation and executive orders coming, what is the foreseeable future you're looking for Indian non-immigrant visa community? I mean, what are you able to see from your viewpoint at this point in time?
It's definitely, as panic as such, which we are not, 100,000 is a huge fees that we are never even, we know that it's going to be something that's going to happen. It's coming, and but not this kind of an plays about the 100,000. But again, like it's not going to stand in the court. That's for sure. That's because it's not about the money alone, right? There are so many conflicting details that's going to be there on the proclamations. And so with that said, the level of wages, the wage level, the weighted selection system for the H1B lottery, that's more concerning when it comes to the lottery for the coming year rather than this proclamation. That's my standpoint. And as they said, the wage level 4 and then, 4 entries, that's a possibility, and the level 3. So most of the smaller and the mid-sized companies, when I say smaller companies, even companies which are of 250, 300 employees are a very small size of a company. At this time period, they are not in a position to pay any non-immigrant employees with all the other limitations onto the level of level 3 or level 4 wages. So that's more concerning how the lottery system is going to be. Then you become, like, so the H1B, which had been using this system, will be the one more affected. And so the bigger corporations are the one who is going to be, utilizing all these numbers, 85,000. That's what my understanding over here is.
Got it. Um, so you're saying like there's going to be heightened scrutiny for all applicants. Is that something that I can assume from that?
So it's not about the scrutiny, Karthik. Any system can be definitely said in a way, and any system and a process can helping the system to be used for the purpose that has been there is very different from, like this comes as more than, just punishing rather than saying to help the system to get better.
Got it. Understood. Um, there is Other concerns that some of them have raised, not understanding the nitty-gritties with running Airbnb rentals, doing day trading in stock markets. What do you think, Kavita? What are these considered active business, and what is the violation in here? And are they even supposed to engage while on H1 and L1 on these businesses?
I don't know why suddenly this past couple of weeks this question has come up. I don't
Right.
know what happened anywhere, because I have not come across any specific details on this. But this is the question. I mean, I get more in the past 2 weeks.
Mhm.
See, it's always the case. It's always the case that you cannot work, outside for what you have for your H1B. So if you
Correct.
want to work, file an concurrent H1B and you can work. But without an H1B, you cannot work. What is work? Even if you wanted, your own property, you are trying to rent it out and manage the Airbnb, but still you are working. It is a business, right? It
Right.
is not something like where you are doing it for personal use. It is a business and you are not supposed to work. You can do with other companies. You can hire other property management, but that is also I don't want to say anything
Yeah, I
because
don't want to
it's
make it
very
as a
case
recommendation.
specific.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please contact any experts on that, but definitely only passive income is allowed, but where something um, where you invest somewhere and the income is flowing in, that is okay, but you are not supposed to work. I'll even say that do not sign the check for any business, right? So even because I have seen people who when they come, enter the United States, when after they travel outside, I mean, I have seen port of entry officers asking with their signature saying that I have seen your signature in this document. What does it explain? You don't want to put yourself in a situation like this. Please do not do anything like this. So be very cautious. And as I said before, do not expect any leniency. So be very, very careful and always reach out an expert if you have any question like this.
Got it. Thank you for that detailed explanation, Kavita. Mary, this next question is a two-part question, I would say, is mostly to do with the visiting parents. Okay. The first part is uh, some are being provided with less than 6 months period of stay on their I-94. Okay. Question is, can their period of stay be extended further by asking an extension on the I-94? Was already published. That's one part. Second part, during COVID, there's a lot of parents that arrived here who did not find a travel back option. They stayed with the children here, or family members here, elderly people that arrived here, or any other family members that arrived here. They were not limited, they were only limited travel options. In such situations, some people have applied for I-94 extensions for their family members, which ended up with the biometrics, which they did not even complete because they're already out of the country. What to do in such situations? Can they attempt another entry? Even they do that, how prepared and what documentation they should be prepared with? One is extending their I-94 now, and for those that extended their I-94 during COVID. So that's parental arrivals. So that's full coinage of the question.
Sure, thanks. So the first part of the question, right? If they had been given the shorter than the I-94, as Kavita said earlier, it's very, very important. It's no longer you get the card that comes with your passport. You need to, the first thing that you have to do as soon as you come back home is to check online how long is your I-94. You can't be just giving us an excuse stating that I assume that 6 months has been provided, like approved of me. That's the first part of it. The second thing, so if you had been shortened of your I-94, there is a reason the port of entry officer was not convinced that you are coming for the 6 months for the intent of visiting the place. It's very important to understand you're not helping your family for any other reason. Your intention for the 6 months of a visitor visa is to visit the country. So the officer is not convinced. It happens only with the reason that you had been coming so often within a short duration of time. So that's one thing the pattern the officer observes and then he gives it. So on top of it, legally asking me that whether an I-94 can be extended when they come into with the 3 months approval, 100% you can file for an extension prior to your I-94. But again, you are risking yourself to the USCIS when they have shortened for a reason, you asking back again with the very, very solid reason. If you don't have it, it's going to be denying you. Relying on that, if you're just going to keep extending your stay, that's going to result in a cancellation of your visa, which you have it for 10 years. This is a huge risk that you always take when you plan to extend your I-94. It's not just, you sign a 539 and send it to them. You're
Right.
always risking your visa period, which has been valid for 10 years. And so you need to understand that and do that. So coming back to is it okay, Karthik? Are we clear on the first question?
Yes, we good. Thank you.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. Coming back to the second question, right? This I'm going to go only by scenarios, and then what I understand, maybe Kavita could also add it up to that. So there are very many situations that they have to abandon that, and then when they have to travel, and there are multiple times they have to extend. Even our office extended like the extension of the limitation of the B2 visa is only for 12 months, which means only one extension is legally allowed. But in the COVID situation, we did multiple extensions because of the travel ban and the situation that happened. They couldn't even travel. So when they left without a biometric, I have seen in some places where they were at the port of entry, deported back, saying that they didn't properly maintain their non-immigrant status, and so the visa got cancelled. But that was very, very minimal. So to be on the safer side, what I would ask is, before even planning to come back, find it out from the consulate whether your visa that has been valid for the 10 years is still valid. That's very, very important for them to understand whether there is a validity of the visa. If they do have the validity of the visa, then most likely with an explanation or a letter that has been written, what has happened, what's the dates, what the consequences of happening and everything, the port of entry, depending on, you can't be choosing Chicago for that, then in that case, right? So all these has to be considered, and then you can, but it's a very, very subjective question. I would definitely consult an attorney and the plan of action, what has to be done, and then you have to do that.
Great business decision that you run your office from Chicago. Good. Thanks for the explanation, Mary.
I mean, Atlanta is catching up.
No, okay. Great. Then I'll probably move on to the next question. This is more to do with people having some skepticism about the ones that are coming in and asking for their documentation and validating their records. How do people ensure that the ones that are coming in for any visits, checks, raids are actually real officers from the agencies? Are they allowed to ask them for any identity documentation or something? Kavita, what do you
Yes.
think?
Yes, definitely. As Mary said before, you don't have to answer everything immediately as well.
Mhm.
And you have to ask for their identification documents. You can verify, and tell them that you're going to get back to them. So if you have any doubt, see, the scam is everywhere. They are everywhere. So we have seen people calling us an IRS, and there are people where they say that somebody recently also somebody said I saw somebody offering job in your name. These things happen everywhere. We get calls, right? So this
Right,
is also possible when it's a scare tactics. That's what people use. So you
right,
can always verify. You can always ask for the badge. Obviously, they will carry something which may be fake. So
right.
you can always say that you have to get. I mean, I have asked people also that send me the email. People have sent the email from the legitimate place, because sometimes the email you can, I mean, that is also like probably it's cyber security topic, but still
Mhm.
if you can go and see the email, it can say Kavita Ramasamy, but if you go and see the email, it's some gibberish thing, right? So
Right.
you have to verify the email, even just don't go by the name. So
Got it.
be very, very careful, and definitely, you can, if you have a doubt, you can always ask, and you're not going to be in problem because of that. So,
Thanks for that explanation, Kavita. We have a quick time check to do. We have another 10 minutes from the scheduled time of 1 hour for the conversation. I am following the questions that are coming up on YouTube and on Facebook. We're trying to source questions from there. I'll maybe go with this question. Maybe Sumita, I think you can go with the next one after. There are situations where there are people who have had H1 for an extended period of time, maybe, but they hold a non-IT bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. Do you think that there is any challenges coming their way? Because is there non-IT bachelor's degrees not going to be accepted in the future for H1s and L1s? For even extensions, I mean, the ones that are here.
Okay, so that's a specialty occupation, question
Right.
related to that, right? So the modernization rule, when it came up in January, so it was very specific to say that it should be a related degree of whatever has been the type, the occupation that has to be filed for. So when it says a related degree, if you are filing under a software engineer, so then if you have a mechanical engineering degree, usually be related with the experience of the number of years that they had been holding into the
Right.
IT and everything. So it's going to be a little more challenging. That's what it's expected with the modernization of the H1B programs and everything that happened. But practically speaking, we did discuss about this in other call as well. As of now, till thankfully, till this month, there is not much. And also, there was one additional exception that was given. If you already had been approved of H1B, then in that case, your extension shouldn't be a problem. But we are still not sure, amendment come extension, how
Right.
far it's going to be impacted. Because anytime we are going to be filing an amendment for any other reason, change of locations and all those places. So how it plays is something that we were not sure. And right now, we don't see, even there are RFEs that is getting received for the specialty occupation. But as of now, practically seeing, we don't see that. But again, we also understand a person who has been approved of a H1B, and then it's going to be an amendment come extension. Still, they should, the rule, as it encourages the extension. So we don't see practically any problem on that. But in the future, definitely it's going to be something questionable when it comes to a very non-related degree. It doesn't have to be the same, but it's a non-related degree is something questionable.
Got it. Thanks, Mary. Sumita, do you have another question for the panel? Maybe we'll alternate then. Yeah. Sumita, you're on mute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next one is Kavita. This is for you. The DUI violations and reckless driving ticket. How is it expected to impact the visa holders on the renewals, GC applications? There is a lot of myths. There is a lot of WhatsApp messages.
yes, until previously it was not, even the first time extensions, and the first time offense was not considered that big of an offense. And also you have to always go back to your state to see what it is, whether it is a, CMT. So you just go and check with your local, attorney, immigration attorney for any of the DUI. That's what I would suggest. There are attorneys who are specializing in it, because currently we have come to know that, it is not going to be excused anymore. But I would always suggest that, you go and talk to a immigration attorney on this. They are experts, and they will, because every state is different, right? So I would suggest doing that.
Got it.
Thank you.
And Mary, what is the future of the OPT, CPT, and such visa options? I mean, interim visa options for employment once people graduate from their college year. Do you see any challenges coming on them? Because there seems to be some Senate movement on that.
Yeah, sure, Karthik. So, coming back to the OPT, so within the 10 months, we see a lot more of scrutiny on the F1s as such. Even a regular OPT extensions, the reasoning behind is the first one is like in the initial OPT, they can be a volunteer and they don't have to be on the paid positions, right? So that they consider that as a very misused place. They do go anywhere and then they work for very lower wages than what it is. There's no prescribed wages, minimum wages, or anything that needs to be followed when you are in initial OPT period of 12 months. So all these has made USCIS to be very skeptical about the position they had been holding. So we see a lot more of denials, and moreover, very simple, not timely filing of the OPTs and then extension to be filed. That's a very huge mistake that happens with the student community. And getting into something which is not allowed, working in restaurants, that's very, very common. And it's so common everywhere. You can see that that's not something that can be encouraged, or they are going to be investing their time, efforts, being a student over here. That's all going to be there. And definitely the proposed rule says that, you usually, when there is the F1 students, they are given the duration of status. Means when you enter into the country, right, however you maintain being a student in any institute, you can be main duration DS, we call it, right? So that is allowed. So they don't have any specific I-94 expiry, which is proposed. We don't have an exact how it's going to be turning around. And then they said it's going to be maximum of 4 years within, including the OPT and the programs and everything. And if further on means it has to be extended depending on the schools and everything. So a lot more of changes. And even when they go for the consulates, we are seeing a lot more of vetting, especially when it comes to the F1. It could be as clean as something or from a very good universities, but still, being on a H4 and then completing their 3 years, and because they are aging out, they go for the consulate. And we see a lot more of vetting when you compare it to that of other visas. So these are all some of the changes that's actually happening, and the proposed changes are little more in concern. But again, as long as it's proposed, I don't want to go in detail, because
Yeah.
things might change anything as long as it's in a place where it is now.
Got it.
Even coming back to the DUI question, I just wanted to be very, again, the same awareness. You are in a different country, be very, very careful. It's not fun, it's not fun to be in such a position, because I have seen people who said, like, தொடவே மாட்டேன் அப்படின்னு. But you have, this thing is, you have come to this situation, you shouldn't be in that situation. So be aware, do not drive. So there's so many things, again, everything comes to, know your visa, know your dates, uh, be aware, and do not indulge in anything which you are not supposed to do.
Just a small reminder for the time. We just have like 2 minutes. We can extend for another 5 minutes.
Yes.
Karthik, is that anything more important questions that
Yeah,
we
I
have?
think I'll quickly run the questions by Kavita and Mary. Do we need to register the children for alien registration with Form G325R? Children on H&L dependent status that turned 14 years and not had any biometrics when below 14 years. Such kids, do they have to do
They
that?
should.
Yeah,
They should.
they have to do
When they
that.
turn 14, they have to do the alien registration.
Yes.
I believe that
Mhm.
many parents, I also see some of them totally missing out on even doing the biometrics for children that have turned 14 after getting the green cards, right? Children on green cards who cross the age of 14, what is your advice to those people, Kavita? What do they
Yeah,
need
you
to do?
should register, and you should register. Or normally, if you travel and come back, you are okay. But you should do that. You should do the biometrics and you should register it. And sometimes,
It is a full-fledged renewal if you're on a
yeah, that's what I
G-SUF,
was
right?
about to say, that you have
Correct,
to do the renewal of the green card as well.
correct. And then there's a lot of questions around F1 visas, revocation, service termination, and all that. What are your thoughts on that, Mary?
So when the revocation, the reasoning is very important, Karthik. So it's a very general question, but again, when they are when they don't maintain the status, and there is a lot more, but the reinstatements as of now, they don't have a premium processing. So reinstatement of a status, depending on the reasoning, is very, very important. So it's, it helps you at least not to travel out of country and try it out. But again, it's very subjective question. You have to be careful about even maintaining your status over here being on an F1.
Fair enough. I think people need to follow that. Kavita and Mary, both of you, what are your thoughts on having people on H1L1 visas volunteering for community organizations like the Tamil Sangam? Some people do serve in the Tamil Sangam on a volunteer capacity. Some serve in the board and executive committees.
That shouldn't be a
Uh,
problem at all, because
yeah,
it's a voluntary position and it's not you're not paid, right?
should that be declared on the DS 160 when they fill it by saying like I held so and so
If
position
you
with
want,
this
you
so and
can.
so
It's
number?
not going to hurt you.
Okay.
Definitely. In the 485 also, there are questions like, many people ask, like, should I list the organization? I would say go ahead. It's not going to, because having a position in a Tamil Changam or, there's so many people do that. So,
Got it.
it's only going to benefit the society, and you're not indulging in any business or money-making process. So I don't think it should be a problem at all.
Got
I
it.
wanted to add on to that question with Karthik. The 501c organization, any H1B is volunteering. If whatever work that person is volunteering, but the whatever he's volunteering for, if it is paid, is that valid? Say, for example, he's volunteering for an organization, which will be a paid position if it is given to another person. But this person is doing it as a volunteering position, if that is okay.
No, no, because it's again the 501(c)(3) itself. It's a uh, I mean I mean it's a good question, Sumi, because there are cases where they go and do saying that um, I mean, in many cases, the insurance, I'm just giving the free advice, whereas somebody professional can come and do it. No,
Right.
Yes.
it should be purely voluntary, and it should benefit the society, but not in a, it shouldn't
Okay.
be a part of a business or anything. No,
So
no.
the
Right.
beneficiaries should not pay, just to be on the good side, right?
Yeah, that's right. Actually,
It's a
yeah.
very,
So,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, Kavita, go ahead, Pa.
No, no, no. I would say that it's a very subjective question. Probably, talk to one of us if you have any doubt, because every position, I would say that, it's different, and you don't want to get into something where, I mean, like, you are not supposed to do it, even
Okay.
And
because
no
you are not
conflict
getting
of
paid.
interest if it is not within the 40 hours of their daily duties that they perform on the H1 visa. That is never going to be an issue, is what you're saying. Correct? Yeah,
Yeah,
there are
one
other
more
things.
thing, yeah, Karthik,
Right.
it shouldn't be. See, if you're in your IT position, as long as it's going to be another organization, which is also a IT development company, and then you're saying I'm volunteering, that is not going to be acceptable, right? An IT developer going to any, even a temple and then just volunteering something else, it can never be in a place that it's going to be conflicting the intent of
Correct.
what you're going to do. So, and also, for example, we did an EB1A, and then he was, every week he was sincerely volunteering for something in a local temple, and then
Right.
we just added as a criteria that he had been like doing this, and so it supported him, I would say.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's good. And there is one question that I want to take from the YouTube comments, and I think this is a question that many people may have given the severity of autism among children that we have seen. It used to be 1 in 27,000, now it is 1 in 32 is what the statistics say. Does aging out at 21 give any lenience to kids that are autistic, special needs children, and if they turn 21 while on a H4L2 dependent status, does it give them any lenience at all?
They
This
can keep
thing.
extending on the B2
Mhm.
on humanitarian basis, but it is very sad. Very, very. There are so many. We can even have a separate situation or session on situations where it is really sad, and the options available. But in my opinion, they can only extend on a B2 on
Yeah.
humanitarian
So
basis.
I'm really, really sorry for that to say that answer also. I feel so sad. We talk about this, me, Kavita, a lot more of time. We understand as a parent what's that you're going through when your children are aging out, but unfortunately, there's nothing much. I would say somebody could lobby and bring some changes because there's a lot more of children that's aging out. But again, getting them on a humanitarian basis, extending their stay on the B2 is the only option that's available, and we'll be glad to support that. And then with medical documents and affidavits, but you'll be assured that we can definitely do that. It doesn't have to be limiting. There are other attorneys who have suggested they've been doing it on this kind of a conditions as well. So probably you can be at least assured. But I know how insecure it feels for a parent and what they go through with that. We're very sorry for the situation.
There are other
Thanks.
difficult situation also, I mean, the divorce and, when one spouse passes away, where Mary, pitches in and helps all the time. So there are, as I said,
Oh
like
yeah, I think we
have a
should
separate
probably,
session on that. It's so
yes,
much
I
of,
think we should probably cover that here, at least to a gist of it, because H1s, when they pass away, the H4 spouses lose their status immediately. That is a sad situation that many people do not know when they sign up to travel to the US. Your life just goes off the rails that very day. And there is an opportunity to have the spouse remain here, the H4 spouse remain here, right? Mary, would you want to probably quickly detail us on that?
Sure,
204L process? Yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah, thanks, Karthik. I love to talk about it. Thank you so much. When it comes to the Section 204, right, how it helps is unfortunate situations. Everyone in this frame are so grateful that, each one of them has been helping them, the families in that situation. So keeping that in mind, I know like any unfortunate situation, the spouse gets passed away who has been on a H1B, the H4 dependent, and then the children who are below 21, they are eligible. So I have checked with one other attorney, Ayla's very leading attorney, who has done so much on his own to the 204. And he has given me an assurance through an email. I have the copy of the document as well as a summary judgment, which says that in one kind of a situation, the person that who remains on the H4, as long as the I-94 is valid and they have not left the country, they can continue to be here. I understand. Even last 2 days before, I was in a call with one other HR of the one of the closest family that we are through Tamilia. We are helping them, supporting them. So I have to
Mhm.
tell them that I am taking this risk and the responsibility to the
Represent.
mutual, so they can continue to, because I want them to make use of the H4 and the H4 EAD that's associated with that. That's one thing. So how it helps with the Section 204 is the spouse could have been holding an I-140 with the approval based on the employment based. So that employment based approval based on this Section 204L, based on the humanitarian grounds, it get transferred to the spouse. There's no supporting document that's needed from the employer. All that needed is the surrounding circumstances like the affidavits and all those. And as you all know, few of the green approval of the green cards has happened with our filing itself. So fortunate to say that we could definitely support them as long as they want to continue here, but their continuity of stay depends on so many other reasons. But this is how we could all each other can help in situations like this to support the family. And taking one more minute on this, as it's a wide, audience you all have, there is
Please.
that is one more criteria. SSN, right? If they become based on the spouse, they have the 40 credits and they become eligible. The children who are born, the US citizen children, they get the benefit. That's not a problem. But the mother getting a guardian benefit is not something most of us are. Sometimes there's an office doesn't even just talk about this, but whoever is supporting these families have to be aware. It's not only the US citizen children. the mother who has been a guardian will also be getting it for the sake of the children till 18 years. So these are some things that we all have to hold on and support them when they are in a situation like this.
Got it. Just to
That's
quickly
what it is. Sunny
summarize what you,
session. We need it.
yeah, I'll
What you
quickly
said.
Yeah.
summarize because it's some of the important points. So if a H1 person passes away, the H4 can avail their priority date as long as their I-94 is valid. They have not traveled outside of the US, and they're in that status where the I-94 is valid and also the spouse's I-140 is approved. Their priority date could be requested for the spouse, and they can continue to remain and find a employment option here and continue to stay. That's number one. And number two, regarding the social security benefits that you mentioned, Mary, I believe when you said that the mother can avail the social security benefits for herself and minor children until they turn the age of turn to the age of 18. The spouse, she will receive it until she remarries, correct?
Yeah, right. The other way around. The child is the one who's eligible for the citizen benefits when the dad or the mom passes away, if they are eligible for the 40 credits. The mother, being a guardian of the child, it doesn't have anything to do with the remarriage. The child reaching the age of 18, the
Mhm.
mother, being a guardian of the child, will be getting that benefit.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, got it.
And the
Thanks
H4.
for that.
Mm,
Yes.
mm.
Mary is specializing in that. So I think we've handled like 6 or 7 such situations just in the
Many,
past
many more.
past 2 weeks alone. I'm saying 2-3 weeks alone. I'm saying we are pursuing 204L. The primary thing that we are requesting for families, I know that comes as a collective decision to not push the spouse to travel out of here, to make sure that for the social security benefits that this avail, we want them to be here. And I think there's another situation where we ran into where they have to establish 30 days of residency. There is one case that came about. If the spouse ends up going out and then they come back in, before you even knock the doors of the Social Security office, you have to have 30 days of residency established in the US before you ask for the Social Security benefit. So which means you cannot start it the day you land. It's 30 days after that you land that you have to go and ask the Social Security office for Social Security
So
benefits.
just stop it over there, Karthik. So it's all depends on, the Social Security office as well. There is always an exception that's available. There's
Right.
no, they don't follow a consistent. This one, as Kavita rightly said, this is so much, we all have to talk about it. So
Yes.
closer to the
I
heart.
believe
We need to talk about it.
Yeah, we were looking at having somebody that has handled some this psychological counselor that has also been involved with so many cases that we're dealing with Tamil year. We thought of having them, but I said like 1 hour of immigration session itself is not enough to answer so many questions that will come. So we've generally answered majority of all the questions that we received. Maybe we'll try another session sometime. But these, I think, we'll keep communicating to the diaspora.
Awareness
Yeah.
is the key.
Yeah. Anything that you want to add, Sumita, Mary, and Kavita, before we call?
No,
Great.
I think this has been a great session because we received questions from so many Tamil Sangams all over US. And Karthik, you did fantastic job because it was very specific, it was very subjective. He curated in a very well way that whatever we have answered so far, we actually answered to most of their questions. So I'm very glad we had the session. And ER and will and trust and people, that's totally a different session. And we have to have a psychologist all by herself. And she should be given 1 whole hour, or he should be given 1 whole hour for this. But thank you so much for the past couple of weeks. I know how you both have been super busy. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
You really want me to say that?
No, we'll keep it this way. We'll keep it purely professional in this. But just to summarize with everything,
I can add some tone of fun to it, but
no,
it's okay.
we'll take it off the camera.
Yes.
As Mary initially itself said, all these things will happen behind the cameras. But all my dear friends, know your rights, keep up your paperwork. Volunteering, please go ahead, but make sure it's not a paid one. Check your expiry date, check your passports. Ignorance of law is never an excuse. At no point what happened happens, it's very easy to say don't panic, but honestly, trust me, don't panic. Breathe in, breathe out, and take a second and then speak whatever you wanted to. All your Facebook posts, social media posts are watched. The emails that you sent out from your offices are watched. So before you click that enter button, make sure whatever you're doing is right. Yeah, thank you
So
so much, everybody. And if you wanted to add
one
something.
more thing, yeah. So whatever happens, your mental health comes first and your family comes first, right? So so இதுக்கெல்லாம் don't get worry. I mean, yeah, obviously it's easy to say, but your mental health is very, very important. So keep up the sanity and please be, I mean, once you are aware of whatever it is happening, I think you should be fine. So whatever happens, Mary always says that we're here are in India, we are all educated. So it should be fine. Everything should be fine. This too shall pass. That's what it is.
Got it.
Yes,
As a
yes.
conclude, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like one last thing, I know. So me and Karthik, you guys are awesome because I really mean it. The reason is like you made it in a way very, very we were so interested rather than just just a question and answers or anything. You guys were really awesome, and I see so many times you stepping in with all interest of preparing, just compiling. All these comes together very, very well and useful for the community. That's so important. And Kavita, always, I love to be. We both can chat and sit and do anything. Always fun to
Right.
have it. That's all I can say.
Yes.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Actually,
Thank
it
you all
was
so
like,
much.
nation
Before,
wants to know that post அப்படியே நிக்கிறா.
yeah, before we close, I will repeat
Chandra
what
is
was.
also there. He was also supporting
Yes,
so
Yeah,
thank you,
many.
Chandra
thank you
and
all.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Karupaya.
Tekshana.
Chandra,
Thank you,
Karupaya,
Karthik. You guys are
and
awesome. It was like
Awesome.
friends talking. It's not like
Yeah.
what a session was.
Maybe we should do this again. I mean, frequently, I would say, because there's so many things that are piling up on immigration. I think we will reconvene again. But before we call it off, one quick reminder to all those that are listening right now. Please make sure that if you run into any emergencies, I am sure we are not a 911 service, but we will still insist this. There are a lot of organizations that help in emergencies. FETNA is specific arm that helps in the Tamil ER segment,
Yeah.
Tamil emergency response. And to reiterate, it is not just for the Tamil diaspora that we do this. This is extended for all linguistic background of people from all states of India, because service is the same, human situation is the same in the US. So there is no differentiation in that. So if you run into anything, we ask you to please knock our doors at tamiler.org. If we are able to provide you with any service that you are in need of, we'll be very happy to do that. We are a motivated team of volunteers nationwide at this point in time, not just here, but also in Canada too, by the way, just so you know. Please feel free. We wish you all a very good evening, good night. Thank you so much. And thank you all, the panelists and my co-moderator, Sumita, for pitching in and helping us. Chandra, Kayambu, and Karupaya from New Jersey, who were very kind enough to help us get associated and put this digital experience together. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Vanakkam.
Vanakkam.